We have. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the stream where, funnily enough, it's decided not to go on YouTube. So I'm trying to fix it in the meantime. So I'm going to let my co-host do the
We'll get
talking right now.
ourselves up on the YouTube for sure. Hello, everyone, and welcome to, as promised, night two of WrestleMania. Not as promised, unfortunately. We don't have Jamie with us. I know a lot of you in the comments really excited to see him, but card subject to change, and he was unavailable. And we wish him the best. And he does say he's going to catch it on the rewind. So all the best to Jamie there, and I hope that he's having a good time. But we're here to review night two of WrestleMania and talk about going forward what we would like to see from WWE, what we can maybe see them doing in the next event. So obviously you've got Backlash coming up in France, you've got Bash at Berlin. We know that there's a Clash at the Castle 2 coming up in not so sunny Glasgow. A whole range of events that we already know. We can start sort of trying to see where we think they're going with certain things and just basically talk about where WWE are at the moment. And if we have a little bit of time, we may also touch upon what's set to happen tonight, where AEW are set to, if I'm right, and it is this week, they will be airing the All In footage. Mainly only the CM Punk and Jack Perry incident, which I've seen reported elsewhere. There's some people that think it's Brawlout tonight. It's like, no, I think Brawlout has a mass
That's
array of
got
NDAs,
Yeah.
which was what confused me at first. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the joke shop. We're here to talk about the big time WrestleMania 40. Have you managed to get it up on the YouTube? Are we going? Are we cooking?
From what I can see, and I'm not sure what's happened, it looks like there's actually an issue with YouTube at the minute actually doing streams. So it is currently on it is on Twitter. We've got 11 people watching
All
already.
right.
It is on
So are
Twitch,
we
so
going to?
we're gonna keep going.
We might have to post. Yeah, we might have to post upload it. Oh,
That's just
you've
don't
appeared.
worry. That's to me. It's to me, so I can try and
You've
load it from my
appeared
phone.
twice.
Yep, I'm gonna try and load it from the phone, like onto YouTube. So I'm gonna try it from here. So ignore two brilliant sides of me. But please do continue, co-host. You've got full reign right now to do
Well,
this.
I mean, fair enough. We'll see if we can get ourselves up on YouTube. But yeah, we're talking all of night two. I don't want to go massively into it while we've not been set up, and obviously I don't just want to monologue about the whole card. So I'll start with what I said yesterday. So after we had the national anthem again and all that patriotic stuff, it
Yep.
was Stephanie McMahon who opened night two. Weirdly, I was quite happy to see her.
Yep.
It was nice to see that she's clearly, as I said yesterday, TKO clearly confident enough that they don't need to worry about her presence on
Yep.
WWE product. I mean, that could also be that Stephanie's sort of, it could in a way be a farewell because once again, she might just disappear into the background. She might not want to be involved. Good
What's
evening.
what's up, Rach? Hope you're doing good. That's one of like Aaron Greg's pals and all that. Aye, YouTube. I don't know what's going on. I think there's an issue with YouTube and StreamYard. So it looks like our night two stream is going to get. I'll download it and I'll post it onto YouTube
It's
tonight.
like, yeah, it's like when
Later.
SmackDown gets punted to FS1. That's
Yeah,
that's what's happened here.
that's what we'll call it. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it the FS1 stream.
Uh,
So I'll stick with that. So I'm just gonna drop my phone out now. We're just gonna go back to it. There
yeah,
we
no
go.
worries.
But we've
So,
got 16 people watching though. Well, 16 people watching. So
lovely, lovely,
let's do
and
it.
as always, people get it shared round. Let's have a big old party. Let's gather around this campfire.
Absolutely.
So we have got night two and match one of night two. Have you got the
I do
card
indeed.
there?
I do indeed. I'm sharing screen
Perfect. Let's get it
now.
shared onto the screen so as
Absolutely.
we can see it. But match one, no surprise. I think Brock Lesnar might have set the precedent for this. I remember
Yeah, he's
WrestleMania 35. Brock Lesnar, obviously Universal Champion at that time. If we're not on last, we're on first. We're getting in and we're getting out. So I felt that this was going to open the card
yep,
on
100%,
night two.
and yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was purely like if they don't go on first, they're going on last, and that's the circumstance of it. The problem is though, with this opener though, is like you said, this was a full-on spot fest. Like, well, a finisher spamming fest, I should say. Signatures, finishers, the lot. Um,
Yeah,
it, and it kind of deflated it because we could have got a really good match. Like, I still expected Drew McIntyre to absolutely bitch
yeah. I think
Seth Rollins, but I expected a little bit
yeah,
more like offense rather than just 500 claymores and
yeah.
12
Was
pins throughout the shit.
nice. It was nice in terms of the two working together, but it wasn't much
Yeah,
of a wrestling match. I mean, Drew McIntyre hit
no,
the Claymore right out the gate, and I thought that might have been it.
yeah, it
Just the
was.
one Claymore and he was done. I thought it might have been a squash, but no, Seth kept fighting. As you know, if you were to look at one trait that really defined the Seth Rollins title reign with the World Heavyweight Championship, it is that sort of pushing beyond the boundaries of what should have been possible, but getting away with it because he's Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
Uh, Seth kicked out of things that I think if it was other wrestlers, I'd be annoyed.
yeah,
Um, but based on the fact that it was WrestleMania and based on the fact that Seth Rollins has built up that sort of
mm-hmm.
pedigree, pardon the pun,
Ye-
he is allowed to sort of get away with more of that. And I thought they worked well. I think CM Punk did add on the commentary,
Yeah, I think
even
so.
like outside of the match itself. I think I'd said as much as when Punk got hurt. I remember saying that I'd like to see him on commentary, and we got it for one match. So that worked, and
Did.
obviously it built into the angle that we'll talk about next. But you got to think it was the right result, right? Because obviously it could have gone either way with what happened, and Punk had issues with both guys, and that was the big sort of drawing factor. But do you think this went the right way?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you're looking at in a nutshell, they had to get the title Seth Rollins anyway. He's been champion long enough. The title reign was synonymous of it's just well, he's been champion. He always gets a little bit cocky over his opposition, and additionally as well, like they continuously play up to the fact that he's got some form of injury. If he had retained this title past WrestleMania, his title reign means fuck all. Like it would have been just a waste, and there'd be no point having McIntyre back in a main event match scene.
It had
It would have just
been
been
really confusing because
massively.
Seth would have basically taken that title and then buried all the competition. Not buried, but you know what I mean. Like he would have beaten
Theoretically, they would
them.
have been. They would have been.
It, yeah, I don't want to say it's burial because of anything Seth Rollins has done, but we've known from about October that
Yeah.
he's been working hurt.
Yep.
And that's been the story. They built a whole feud around it. That's why I
They
thought
did.
Nakamura was going to win the belt because,
Same.
he was talking about how he had to, funnily enough, end your story was was Nakamura's thing because
Ironically
obviously he
enough.
left the Seth Rollins feud and went into the Cody feud, saying, "Okay, I'll go and finish your story." And we spoke about Nakamura yesterday, and I'm sure it will come up again tonight as well. But
Yep.
yeah, I think this was the right call. I don't think it would have hit quite the same if Seth had retained. But it does open up questions for what happened next because as Drew McIntyre connected with another Claymore out of
Mm-hmm.
frustration, basically, because Seth just wouldn't stay down, Drew hits him with one more Claymore, and then sure enough, there's the cover. Um, Seth, just a defeated, crumpled mess of a
Yep.
human. He looked like he'd been through the wars. You know how Spike Dudley always looked?
Aye.
Like Spike Dudley had that thing where he'd always looked like he'd been in a war. That's what Seth was doing. I'm gonna sort of, I mean, it's hats off to him. I didn't necessarily want to see him be champion up to Mania,
Same.
but I think my attitude on that changed when Punk came back and they started building that issue. Because then when I saw it was going Seth versus Punk, I was like, okay, well, Seth has to be champ. Punk does what Punk seems to do, and
Yeah.
he's unfortunately just a bit injury prone, and I mean it's not really to his detriment because I think he's incredible in promos, but basically once it was clear that Seth couldn't fight Punk, this was the best thing to do from there, was to allow Drew McIntyre something.
I agree.
What happened next with Punk aiding Senior Money in the Bank? Do you think Drew McIntyre signed his contract or not?
I'm assuming so, because you don't go and announce the way they're allegedly going in terms of like what's to come up. I mean, you've got premium live events. You've got 6 of them in the space of 4 months. It's a heavy schedule. In terms of the actual product and McIntyre, if you're going to announce Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, specifically in Glasgow, you'd have to have McIntyre like with a contract. If not, then what's the point of announcing a pay-per-view in Scotland?
Well, to debut Gallus.
Will they? Won't they? Maybe, but I suppose. But in terms of
Gallus might get called up. To be fair,
I hope so. I like Gallus, but
I
I'm
feel like
just
they're
going.
just spinning their wheels in NXT. So
Yeah,
maybe
I don't.
Drew
Yeah,
could,
you know what I mean. You
maybe
know what I mean, though.
we
You
could
know what I
have
mean,
a
though. I don't mean it in a. I'm not meaning it to like tear them down in any way or any detriment. I'm just being
yeah,
like,
yeah,
when you really look at it, like, oh great, they're coming to Scotland. They're bringing Drew McIntyre, who right now is one of the hottest things on Raw. Like,
yeah.
surely you're going
It
to
would
have
be really
McIntyre.
cynical. I mean, imagine that they sold the tickets and then the news came out that Drew didn't re-sign and he's a
It
free
would be
agent.
so
That would
dumb.
be quite.
It would be dumb.
I imagine you'd have people fairly angry about that,
I
and
think
rightly so.
I think he has signed the I think he has
Yeah,
signed
I
the
guess
contract
I'm
to go for
just
it.
worried because
Rightfully so.
we saw what happened with Dean Ambrose, before he became Gunther's equivalent. Uh,
I knew that was coming.
every time,
Yep.
I will never let you forget what you said.
I think
But-
I think the 47 people watching are not going to let you forget either.
no, absolutely not.
No,
Never.
I'm not joking. There's we've got one person watching on Twitch, which I'm assuming is still going to
Oh,
be Rich, and we've
I
got
thought you were about
46
to say
people
we have
watching.
one person. I thought you were about to say we have one person watching on YouTube. But I was like, they broke it.
I've tried to. I think there might be an issue with StreamYard where it's having its typical issues trying to load a stream. So we're on that. So there's 46 people watching on X, and we've got one consistent viewer on Twitch. So that's good.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
So
It's never.
so
We've
to
got that.
everyone watching right now, I mean, we all remember Dean Ambrose being kicked out of the company, right?
Yeah.
I think Drew McIntyre was part of that.
I think he was. Yeah.
I feel like Drew McIntyre was one of his final feuds, if not his final feud. He obviously got eliminated from the Rumble by Nia Jax. And it was just thing after thing. I mean, we don't know if the Dean Ambrose with a gas mask was a result of hearing that he wasn't going to re-sign his deal,
That was
and
so
that
bad.
obviously,
That was
yeah, it
so
led to
bad.
just some terrible, terrible decisions. But obviously, they wanted to embarrass Dean on the way out, and I'm not saying that Hunter's necessarily built the same way. I'm just saying if Drew's gone in there and said, "Look, I have a bigger offer," because of course he would, because the money mark probably just
It
wants
is
anything.
possible. I mean, it is
Um,
possible. Yeah.
so then maybe Hunter's just like, "Oh, okay, well, you can leave, but not before Seth Rollins, CM Punk makes you look like a tool, and you have
Yeah.
the shortest world heavyweight title reign,
Yeah.
probably not of all time, because surely there's been a cash in on the old world heavyweight title, considering it continues that lineage.
Yep.
I'm trying to think though.
I think when you
None's
look at
immediately coming to mind as a world heavyweight champion that was cashed in on the same night.
well,
Um,
back then,
the
or
the old before it was re-continued.
only
I'm trying to
only
remember.
one
I'm trying to think.
Kane on Rey
It was
Mysterio.
Kane. That wasn't right after though.
That was not was the same. Well, not the same night of winning it, but to be fair, Big Show won the title, and then Daniel Bryan cashed in on him.
I'm trying to think who the instant cash in was. I think it was Big Show, and then so
Kane.
basically one of the shortest reigns. Like when
Big
you
Show
look at
lasted
it and
about
you'd
45
go,
seconds. Oh,
yeah, and
oh,
when you'd go like,
oh,
oh,
oh. CM Punk on Jeff Hardy. Extreme Rules. He won the ladder
yeah,
match against Edge and then immediately cashed in on him. Turning heel. I mean, it was smart. I mean, to be fair, it was smart. I mean, he chose the ladder match. He got the
yeah, but
stipulation
basically,
choice.
yeah. So what I'm saying is, like the world heavyweight title, when you look at the shortest reigns, having Drew McIntyre's name sort of second or third on that
I
list,
think it's third. I think it's third.
maybe that's enough of a hazing almost of like, okay, well, you're leaving us.
He
We
had the
just
moment.
agreed to do a pay per view in your home country, so there you go, bye bye.
Absolutely.
But I hope he's re-signed because he has been really entertaining since around before War Games.
Just before that, like
Um,
his use of social media has been fantastic, and I think he really does deserve praise for that. And we have 63
Chelsea
people
was
watching.
robbed.
So thank you.
Yeah, Chelsea was robbed. It should have been
Yeah,
Chelsea Green, but she
yeah,
got
you're
her
right.
moment.
She did. She did. We do have 63 people watching, so we hope you're enjoying the show. If you are watching, you can leave comments on X, so please drop whatever comment you like, get involved. And at the end
Yeah,
of the show,
draw
if you
some
want to watch,
comments.
if you want to watch it back on YouTube, I will be downloading it at the end of the show, and I will put it on back on YouTube. It's pretty much we're going to be. I'll be watching myself back, and Aill will be watching herself. So we get to listen to ourselves and see just what we think of ourselves as content creators. I
Pretty
do have some
much. Yep.
announce. I do have some announcements tonight for this for the channel, and some fun ones as well that I think people are going to like going forward. But in
Yeah,
terms of the
let's.
actual cash in, though, in terms of the cash
Yeah.
in, what did you think of Punk though? Because in terms of like the whole build up, we are still assuming that Punk is injured or he is on the road to recovery, but we didn't expect him to actually full on take his cast off basically and just rip McIntyre apart by sweeping his leg. Like the man went full Karate Kid.
Yeah, well, I think on the Helwani show,
Yep.
I think CM Punk basically said that he could have maybe made Mania.
Mm.
I
Could have
remember
made
that moment of the interview. I think I've listened to it twice. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But he basically says, I look at it and I think I probably could have made Mania. I probably could have made it work. It just would have been dangerous, is basically what he said. So I wasn't surprised necessarily that he took the cast off in the match.
I'm still here. Still here.
Got a call from an 0800 number and I had to
Oh,
hang it
that's
up. Right, cool.
oh, that's
I was like,
that's awkward.
that's
A,
obviously going to take the
a
audio.
preemptive call. A
If
preemptive call.
Yeah, if my ringtone came through, people have
I
heard
didn't
the
hear.
start of the Nakamura theme, so that's fun. But anyway, yeah,
That's a deserved moment of applause, even though I did not hear it. I'm jealous. I wish I heard it.
so I think CM Punk getting physical wasn't surprising, and I think that this made perfect sense. It's sort of halfway through the match.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
turned to Greg and I went, I think we're going to get the cash in at the end of this, by the way. I think it's going to be Drew wins and
Yeah.
then Priest will instantly take his moment from him. The one thing I didn't factor in was that Punk was going to do it until Drew went over to Punk. So
He
after he'd like obviously seen his family and he asked the ref to sort of raise his arm again and stuff like that. Really good heel work. He then went
lovely.
right up to Punk and Punk was excellent here. Sat there like just stone faced. And
Yeah.
Drew is rubbing this right in his face, and he's like, "Yeah, it's your moment. Why are you making it about me?"
Full on.
And sure enough, CM Punk made it all about him because he pulls Drew McIntyre off the table. He, as you said, removes the cast from his injured arm. He smashes Drew McIntyre once in the head with it, boots him down, gives him the good old stomping a mud hole in him, some would say, and then the
Yep.
Judgment Day theme hits.
Yep. For the last time as well for Mr. Priest. Well, Senior Priest, I should say.
Yeah, have you noticed his new theme is like a negative harmony version of
Yeah,
the
I
original
think it's
song?
better. I think it's better.
It it differentiates him, and I think it's better than what it was, which was just a slower version of his song.
Yeah,
Um,
it didn't
like
feel like it didn't feel like something that you could get behind if he's going to be like your top guy for who knows how long. Like if he's going to be a transitional champ, or if he's actually going to get a decent run, you want at least a bit of presence behind it. And I thought it was
yeah,
really spooky.
well,
Really,
yeah, and I feel like the fact that they've gone to that level, it tells me that we are getting a couple of months out of Damian Priest. You
and
know,
it
he might
feels
get
like
multiple reigns, but this first one, he'll get a couple defenses,
yeah,
and he'll lose to someone who's willing. It might be Jey Uso, just
who
not quite
knows?
yet. You know, I don't think he'll lose it first try to someone like that. And to
Surely
be
not. I
honest,
mean,
I think if he re-signs, the match waiting for him naturally would be Drew McIntyre. But again,
yeah. I think when you look at
anyway,
this is just a hunch. I think the only reason that Jey Uso's got the world title match is because as we found out as well, on Sunday, Jacob Fatu signed to WWE. I purely think that Jey Uso's only got this title match like upcoming, so Jacob can just screw him over. I think it seems to be like a way of, well, this is Jay's punishment. He gets the reward, but then he gets punished for it by Jacob just steals the moment. I mean, that's what I
I
hope to see, but
really, I
I
really
don't
hope
know.
that's not what they have planned for Jacob Fatu. Let's
He's got to
let's let
skyrocket
him
though.
be. Yeah, but I'd like him to be away from like as far as possible as he can be. I'd like for
I
him
do.
to honestly just stay out of something that he wasn't there for. I don't think he will stay out of it.
I think
Anyway,
he will be
so
involved.
Priest comes down, cashes in. Credit to the referee, credit to the timekeeper. They didn't have to stare at the case for 3 minutes and figure out what the hell
Thank
the
God.
case was. They just
Thank
took the
God.
case. We hear Samantha Irvin, and then
Boom.
bang,
Sound of
South of
heaven
Heaven
choke
choke
slam.
slam. 1, 2, 3. And we have a new World Heavyweight Champion in Senior Damian Priest. You're all right, Billy? How you doing? We're just discussing Damian Priest here at the moment.
Yep. Good to see you,
I
my man.
know we had a discussion on the show that we didn't feel Damian Priest was of the level.
True.
Raw has helped because the way that they presented Damian Priest and the way that they're presenting Rhea Ripley versus
Yeah.
the way that they're presenting the other three in the Judgment Day, you
Mm-hmm.
do almost have this authority like shield around Damian Priest. So the same way that Seth had
I
J&J
kept it on.
security.
I kept it on. I was just disappointed. It was a heat of the reaction moment. I said I'm turning off, but I didn't. I kept it on.
It was like Seth with J&J security. I think Judgment Day is fine to have Dominic and JD, and if this is how Finn Balor wants to be used now, he seems to be having fun. Fair enough to him.
Yep.
Use those three as basically the weapon boys.
Like we said last night.
Give them the odd singles win, except JD. I don't know if he's ever won anything. I don't know if he's ever won a toothbrush in a raffle.
Well, he won that.
Um,
He won. Well, he won the point. Well, he won the pointless cruiserweight championship.
yeah, yeah. So maybe anything of note. But
Exactly. Because exactly.
yeah, yeah. So I think it'll be all right. And I think Damian Priest is an intense enough guy to get a couple things out. I guess my main worry is match quality. I don't know how that's going to look.
How if you had, if I'm going to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about his match quality? Because I'm going to say in terms of actual match quality, for concern, I'm a 9. I'm right up there. Because I don't
I'm
think his
not
match.
right up there. I think he's a solid enough worker, but I think it's about 7. I
It's
am
definitely high.
concerned because I just don't know how they make his matches good. And to be fair, he's maybe not had the opportunity to do that. If you look at his best matches of last year, I mean, you're probably going to Cody, and I think Cody's going to be a little bit busy.
Bad Bunny.
So you're going to have to look at other people. Bad Bunny, I doubt he'll challenge for the World Heavyweight title, but it might happen.
I just think that one actually was decent for him. I think it was actually decent.
Maybe Rey Mysterio wins a shot.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And you could do Damian Priest versus Rey Mysterio, and then Dominic could cost him, and then that could build to a retirement angle for Rey, perhaps, because Dominic does eventually have to get his win back. We've already discussed that match. Priest for me is okay. I see where it's going against Finn at some point. Yeah, as I say, as long as Balor's still got that fire about him.
Yeah. This comment here especially, do you think if the plan was Priest was always cashing against Punk or Seth? That's actually come out today, actually. 1 second. I don't know if you've seen it, so I'm going to bring it up, because this was specific.
I don't know if he was ever cashing in on Punk, but I did read the report that it had apparently been decided.
6 months in the making. Yeah, this comes from it's from I'll quote the source. Aaron Varble from SE Scopes. This is on Cultaholic's Twitter account. Well, X now, I should say. Damian Priest Money in the Bank cash-in at WWE WrestleMania 40 had been planned for 6 months. The exact quote says, "I can confirm that Priest cash-in, it was not a last-minute booking. WWE planned Damian Priest Money in the Bank cash-in at Mania for at least 6 months." So if the plan was 6 months, unfortunately CM Punk did get injured, but the logical choice is you cash in on Punk, though, because he just returned. You really want to steal his moment, then you build it. Drew McIntyre obviously got himself into the feud with CM Punk. It'd be a good follow-up, but also allows that extra dimension of a cash-in at least. But what do you think? Would you agree to that? I mean, it seems logical, but it's...
I wouldn't have had him cash in against Punk.
Yeah. Would you do Rollins?
Yeah. I think Rollins makes a lot of sense. I don't see why you would piss on a CM Punk title win immediately. I think that's hot enough. I think if Seth retained, then yeah. I think Drew McIntyre winning, people didn't want it. In character, people didn't want to see it because he was the heel and Seth was the face. We were supposed to boo. The fans there did boo. Once it got over the initial shock of, oh, new world champion, they did boo it. And it was clear that Drew was the heel. So you're fine to have the cash-in. Now, of course, should the cash-in be used in such a babyface way with a heel cashing in? That's the tricky bit. But I think that's why Punk had to do it. I think if Priest just sort of jumped Drew himself, okay, it would make perfect sense. But that would also be a heel beating a heel, which can happen, has happened to great effect in the past. I didn't necessarily want to see it here, though. So I think they did the right thing. But if Punk was booked to win at Mania originally, I would not have done the cash-in.
I agree. I was just double checking in the background as well because we do have 96 people watching on
Just
X.
one moment. I'm currently sat in the dark, so let me, if I get some light on and I re-angle the bear,
Ace,
there might actually be some light on me. There we go.
Lovely.
I'm sat in the dark here.
Say, we are just about to hit 29.5 minutes into the show. We have got,
and we have done 1.5 matches.
And in the space of that time, obviously I've double checked StreamYard, so there's definitely an issue preventing streams from being created and going live in a minute. They are working on it, but what I can say for everyone's viewership, like hopefully we can get onto YouTube. If not, it'll be downloaded and it'll be re-uploaded for everyone to watch on YouTube on the channel, The Weekly Steel Chair. At the moment, we have 98 people watching.
Let's go. Let's get to 100. Let's get it shared round. Let's keep it going. Maybe, by the time... So here's the challenge for you people, right? Get it shared round. and we're going to see how many fans have joined in the really brief discussion we have about match number 3, though match 2 on the card, match 3 on the list, because going into it, neither of us gave a sugar honey iced tea, and coming out of it, I certainly still didn't. And
Yeah.
Billy Ray didn't save it for me, brother. Neither did Snoop Dogg. Like they could have thrown everything at this. They could have, like they could have resurrected Elvis, and I'm not sure I would have cared. Like this match.
They could have had Tommy Dreamer come out and drink another dose of Undertaker's tobacco juice, and it still wouldn't work.
They could have had the Sandman interfere from front row. Like it just wasn't happening at all.
Yeah.
This was dreadful, and I don't so much want to talk about the match because the match was the match. Bully Ray, who was the special guest referee, was suddenly on the side of the Pride. This makes it one that I got wrong. I honestly don't care because I just didn't care about the match. It was pretty much a coin flip. So yeah, got this one wrong. But Bully Ray basically gave up being special guest referee and started being the 4th member of Pride. And then helped. It was Cross. Cross fell through a table and then got put through a different table. That looked really bad. Really bad. And then this is what I wanted to talk about. See the Karrion Kross thing? The WWE exclusive afterwards?
Yeah.
Please go, Karrion. Please leave.
So.
You're like one of the only people I'd actually advocate going to AEW at the moment, just because Tony might do more than this. This is honking. This is terrible.
I honestly feel for him because I genuinely thought they had a good segment last week on SmackDown. I genuinely thought they had a good segment. They seemed to have been putting investment into the Final Testament, trying to find something. Paul Ellering, of course, legendary manager. He managed the Legion of Doom. He's now in his second stint with AOP. Scarlett, again, is always presented really well. She's got good presentation on screen. And yet, they don't know what they were doing with this one. I think they should have just left this one as just as a singles match. That's what they should have done.
I can't take the credit for this because I think it was Wrestling Soup that said it. And they're a lot of fun guys. Honestly, like obviously don't go running away from us to go to them, but I do appreciate what Wrestling Soup do, and they're a lot bigger than us. But one of the things that one of those guys said was that Karrion Kross reminds him of Mark Merrow, and since he said it, I can't unsee it. And I know so little of the Attitude Era, but that comparison is spot on. It's a guy who looks too good for the gimmick that, like, he looks like he's in the wrong gimmick.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross is there like this dark, evil destroyer, apocalyptic overlord type fella, and he looks like a cuck. He looks like he's cucking for Scarlett.
I mean, to be fair, who wouldn't?
Well,
less is more. Less is more.
But yeah, it was. He was going about. He's got the scarred back in this WWE exclusive, and he's like laughing. Yeah. He's laughing about getting his ass kicked. He's laughing about getting his comeuppance, and then what?
I would burn my.
The main emphasis of it was he was laughing about Montez Ford stealing the spotlight from Bobby Lashley. Like as if that is anything Final Testament have ever cared about. Like, when has a group called the Final Testament, led by a guy called Karrion Kross, whose whole thing is the end is near, or the end is here? The end is here, not even near. The end is here. It was supposed to be at the end. And it is the end. It's the end of anyone taking this prick seriously. Like, goodbye, so long, auf Wiedersehen. You are not a serious wrestler at the moment. Maybe Shawn Michaels could do better with him, but Hunter has completely dropped the ball with him.
Yeah. I wonder, and this is just a genuine question. Also, thank you to the 101 people watching.
Woo! So there you
Like,
go. 4 people in the time that it took to sum that up. Lovely.
yep. One thing, to be fair, anything is better than once my laptop decides to play nice. It's going weird. That was just shit all weekend. The less said, the better about that
Actually,
fucking match.
yeah. You know something? I was trying to look for a positive to the Pride versus the Final Testament,
It
and
was
you know
it
what?
was better.
It wasn't Jimmy versus Jay. So,
I
yeah,
think
okay.
there is definitely, I can see maybe there's 2 or 3 things from this match that really highlights importance for me. One,
Mhm.
AOP do not work on the main roster at
Nope.
all. And it's a
Nope.
shame because they could do that, but it just doesn't work.
Just put the whole
Two,
thing down in NXT. Just the whole thing.
yeah,
Just whoop,
absolutely.
whoop.
Uh,
Down you go.
Two, despite being a married couple, Scarlett Bordeaux should stay on the main roster because at least she actually understands how to work on a main roster because she actually has got the presidency
Would
for it.
you pair her with someone else?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I would.
Who?
You know,
Because you know what I would do just for mega heat? I'd
Dominic
make
Mysterio.
her the valet. No, because Rhea's with her. People wouldn't take to it.
I would split them
I'd
up.
make her the valet for A Town Down Under.
Okay, okay. Carry on. I'm. You know, I'm gonna do the. I'm gonna do the noble thing here. Hold on.
I
Let me just
think
do this.
if okay.
We're gonna do this. Like you're
Mhm.
getting your moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think if I was going to do anything with her on the main roster, it's got to be something that gets a lot of heat.
Hmm.
And who's getting more heat right now than A Town Down Under? Dominic Mysterio, but he's with
True.
Rhea. A Town Down Under get a lot of heat, and they're the tag champions. And you'd be like, oh, Scarlett doesn't really fit that aesthetically. No, she doesn't. But what if she's so disappointed with Karrion Cross? She changes nothing about her look. Okay, she still comes out in the really tight black cat suit or whatever you call it. I should know that. I'm a woman, but I don't. I don't know exactly what it's called. She comes out in it. She's
Brilliance is
still
what I call it.
dressed like she's doing that gimmick, but she's with A Town Down Under, and she cheats for them. And then every time in a promo where they're like, "Why? Why?" She's just like, "Well, at least they're winners, you
Yeah.
know." Because the guy he's with hasn't won anything in what 3 years now. It would be 2021 that he dethroned Finn, dropped the
Yep.
belt, got it back, dropped it again,
Mm-hmm.
forgotten about, fired, brought back, maybe fired again, but just wasn't, and then
Yep.
came back again. In
Exactly.
that time, he's lost feuds to Rey Mysterio, and no
He
one
lost.
has lost to Rey Mysterio other than Dominic. So, because obviously Carrion got the first win, and then they did a rematch, and Ray won. You
Yep.
know, so Carrion didn't even get to beat Ray like that.
And also the
Santos
feud.
actually took over at that time, didn't he? Santos
Yes,
was
he did.
like
He did.
defending Ray's honor, so Santos beat Carrion on Ray's behalf.
Also,
So you know,
circumstance as well. He also had when he did return, he had the feud with Drew McIntyre that we thought we might get something decent of
mhm.
it because it worked post Clash,
We
and
thought that was going to be world title for Roman Reigns.
we literally said it on the show that we see this is coming where they're going to do a couple of matches and it's going to culminate in a steel cage, and it went
Yep.
straight to a steel fucking cage. It went
And a
straight to a steel
horrid
cage.
steel cage where
Oh,
apparently
it was
Drew McIntyre
awful.
had glass eyes or something because he
Oh
didn't
yeah, it was.
sell them. That's when he died. That's when Karrion Cross was done,
Yep.
right? When
When
Scarlett used the mace and Drew didn't sell it.
Yeah, it's generally just as bad as some other like
Oh,
non-sell moments. But yeah, that really derailed them. I like Karrion Cross. I've said on this show numerous times. I know you have as well. Like we do like Karrion Cross, but
yeah. I
we
want
got to be
better for
honest.
this guy. I think he's unique.
But and we got to be honest here as fans of the guy. Um, you can carry on doing your mixed martial arts that Nakamura's still better than you at, but in terms of circumstance, as
Does a
genuine
move
as a
to
tough guy,
Raw save them?
no. I think
I
the
don't
fact I
think
think
so.
what they did, I think what they did right. I think what they did last night actually might be the right choice going down to NXT, and it's not a
Yeah.
demotion. It isn't a demotion, but I think it really is a smarter option. I think it's
Yeah,
a
because you
better
could
option.
obviously you could think of the NXT thing, and you're like, okay, well, are they keeping them there, or are they just there to fire up? Yeah, absolutely, Billy. Are they
Yeah,
just putting them on NXT to get some wins to fire them up to move them to Raw? I'd keep them in NXT. I think, especially, that could be the spot that Gallus, like,
could replace.
basically, Gallus go along to Raw or along to SmackDown, and that's why Final Testament's there. Yeah, fair enough. Actually, I mean,
I wore
I've,
this. This is what I wore. I mean, this is what I wore to work. But sure, I mean, I'll take that with the brilliance of a comment. That is
yeah.
that's made
I've
me
gone with the
smile.
Seth Rollins approach. We're something entirely ridiculous. But yeah, so that was the Pride versus Final Testament. I would
It
ask you
was.
what next for Bobby Lashley, but I don't give a crap. I
Third
don't care.
observation. Third observation, actually, because I said there was three. The one I spoke about,
Yes,
like
go for it. Yeah.
AOP don't work on main roster. Scarlett does. The Pride. I said it months ago when this whole group got together. This was dead on arrival. It was a
Oh, it
waste
was, yeah. Mhm.
because it's a shit group. The Street Profits do not work with Bobby
They've tried
Lashley.
them as heel and they've tried them as face, and the fans
It's
haven't
over.
cared either way. Like they
Exactly.
started as a heel group.
And nobody cared. So by
Yeah.
all means, I beg for the first time in your life, do the right thing. Get Bobby Lashley away from these smut profits.
Can Bobby Lashley
Get them
just
away.
turn around and level both of them?
I would do a full Brock Lesnar,
Like,
just
and
multiple German
just go.
suplexes through
I am a
tables.
former two-time WWE champion. You
And an
guys
absolute
can
nightmare in
get
UFC.
lost.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
I hope
just
he.
yeah,
I would
whatever.
do that. That's what I would do. I'd be like, just tear them apart, limb from limb.
He has something in common with the two competitors in the next match, a former Impact World Champion.
And one of the best ones
Um,
actually, and one of the best ones in terms of like
we
pure
have.
presentation.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, I mean, Impact resurrected Bobby Lashley's career because when he was going around the different barns
He
in
did
front of
like
40 people, he was building up his credibility again. People were no longer seeing him as the fat jobber that he essentially was.
mm-hmm.
He came back, obviously, that return clip where Elias is in the ring and he's the one at Raw after Mania. The fans
Yep.
go crazy for him
Oh yeah.
because he's really good and he can be really good. Just get him out of this group.
He should
Anyway,
never be
so
in a
obviously Bobby
faction.
Lashley's career was on the up and up when he left Impact, and these two guys have had the same thing. LA Knight versus AJ Styles, a match straight from the Impact Zone, straight into WWE. I've got to ask you this one because I don't think it was a bad match. I actually think it was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
Is AJ Styles getting predictable?
As an AJ Styles fan, big AJ Styles fan, 100%. He is
It
predictable.
felt stale, didn't it? Like I was watching this
Yeah.
one and thinking it's good, but I swear you did this against Edge.
Yeah. It was
Like
work
up to the
style
point
style.
of the 450 splash counter with the knees up. And again, AJ Styles versus Edge was one of the matches I'd watched in the build up to WrestleMania. So it was on my mind. And when I watched this, I was like, yep, good match. LA Knight, like to see it. He's
Yep.
he's doing well. And LA Knight feels fresh. And especially at WrestleMania, you're like, wow, what can he do on this huge stage, larger than anything he's fought before.
Yeah.
I felt like AJ Styles spun his wheels here. It was a good match. It's testament to how good AJ Styles is. I don't think this ever had a shot at being the match of the night because AJ's
Yeah.
heart wasn't really
I
there.
think
Not maybe that's unfair. It's
I think
unfair to say
he
anyone phoned it in. I just don't think we saw the best of AJ Styles.
I think what is reflection. I do agree with this comment. He really cannot keep losing matches. But what I will say though is, yeah, when you look at it, the match, I think the fact is, I don't like. Obviously, I respect people that take better physical looks after themselves physically and always getting better physical condition. But growing up, obviously, like 15, 20 years ago and all that, literally, I enjoyed AJ Styles as a lighter, adaptable, technical light heavyweight. And he can do those amazing high flying moves. He's got some of the best spots I've ever seen as a pro wrestling fan. And now he's full on become an absolute roid. Like he looks like he's hit the roids and he's even bigger. He looks like he's went from 215 to 240. He looks like he's went from one class to the next. He's become a heavyweight. And you can still do a phenomenal forearm. You can still do the springboard 450, but it doesn't look good anymore. The springboard 450 looks like a botched elbow drop. Like I'm starting to hate that because it takes away what is about the that
I hate
specialness.
when he does it because I know it's getting countered.
Yeah, and it
I
was
say, like he went for it in the match, and I was just like, "This is getting countered."
double knees right into the ribs,
Yeah,
as predicted.
yeah, it's literally what happened against Edge.
Yeah, and I'm
Like,
like,
you
I don't
guys
want
are
to see
more
this
than
again.
welcome to go back and watch that match, okay? But compare them. Up until the finish,
It was
compare Edge and AJ with LA Knight and AJ.
yeah.
And the one thing that you'll notice is that Edge and LA Knight fight in different ways. But AJ is AJ.
He has to do his own. Like AJ does things his way. He's like
AJ
not a
knows how to do
it's like
his match.
it's like
And
Ric
to be
Flair.
fair, I think, yeah.
It's like Ric Flair. Ric Flair for so many years worked one way, but he still allowed other people to work. But he had to get
Yeah.
his chops
The
and
same
all that
thing
stuff.
might apply to the Randy Orton match. I don't remember. It doesn't apply to the Chris Jericho match.
No, the Chris Jericho
But
match was
that
incredible.
was 8 years ago.
WrestleMania 32, yeah,
Yeah, I think it was WrestleMania 32, Jericho and AJ.
2016,
So it doesn't apply there.
2016. Yeah,
It might apply to Orton and AJ. I don't remember that quite as vividly
uh-huh.
as I do, because I'd literally just seen Edge versus AJ, and I was like, "This, I've seen this match. Like, I've
Yeah.
seen you do these things, AJ." So yeah, I suppose LA Knight got his moment as he bumped for Old Man Shane last year.
Let's not even
Oh yeah.
let's not even discuss that. That was awful. It looks like it. But this is certainly a possibility. I wouldn't be against this if it does happen at
Or
some
you
point.
move LA Knight to Raw
Or you move LA Knight to Raw, yeah.
because Cody's got to go to SmackDown.
Oh,
Unless they're doing the
he'll
draft the
go
other
Raw.
way.
Nah, I think Cody will stay on Raw. Bring the
Do you
WWE title
think?
to Raw. Yeah, bring the
Well,
WWE title to Raw and put
up
Cody on
until it goes
SmackDown.
to Netflix, do they not want the Universal? Cheers,
Yep.
Kane. Thank you.
Cheers, my man.
Feel free to
Yeah,
boost it, dude.
yeah. There's YouTube. There's currently YouTube issues on StreamYard, dude. I don't know if you've got I don't know if you've got any streams planned. Keen, obviously, as mentioned on yesterday's show, obviously it was Keen's channel that originally had the weekly steel chair on it, on the weekly armchair. If you've got any streams tonight, it's still having issues with StreamYard investigating. Don't know what the problem is. But I am going to download this and I'm going to upload it to YouTube after this show anyway. So thanks for letting us know. Well, it's 116 watching to be exact. Still got the one amazing, consistent Twitch viewer. So thank you very much.
Bring your Twitch friends. Let's go. You know,
Bounce them
we'll
in.
we'll, we'll do strip wrestling reviewing if that's what brings the the Twitch viewers.
Absolutely. I will say this though.
I got that prediction wrong. Let me take off my robe. No.
You know what I will say. And this is actually the best thing about this match though is something that was wrong in the first match. The protection of a finisher and it's just one and done.
Oh
One hit,
yeah, yeah.
one
BFT
blunt
has
force
been
trauma, and that's it. one of
What do
them,
you
and
what do
it's
you
what I
make
like.
of complaints that LA Knight is Attitude Era cosplay?
I don't care. The guy's quality. They're they're
Yeah,
they're fixing it. I actually don't care. Like the LA Knight, the way he works, the way he talks, he can work in any era. Realistically, he can. Like,
yeah.
but
I
I
hear
think
the
they just want to
complaint
do
a
it
lot that he's just doing the Rock stuff and then he's doing Stone Cold stuff. I'm like,
he has his own
I
spin on it,
don't
and I
think
like
it's
it.
the same. Yeah, it's like I don't think it's the same. I think when you see he's doing the Rock stuff and he's doing Stone Cold stuff,
Yeah,
it's not word for word. What he's doing is he's capturing the audience's attention. The
exactly.
crowd care about him because he's incredible on the mic. He is good enough in the ring to be a main eventer.
Yeah,
And he, and this is why I was talking about Raw, because if the split is going that way and Cody goes to SmackDown and Priest stays on Raw, Priest versus
Ooh.
LA Knight.
Yeah. But alternatively as well, you could keep LA Knight on SmackDown, and you could put Priest on SmackDown.
You could, exactly. And that's why I'm wondering what way it goes. I just thought because SmackDown's still. It's on Fox until.
And
Actually, has its deal come up?
not yet. I think it's still got. I still think it's still got till the end of the year. I think
Well, it's Raw that's moving to Netflix, right?
Raw's going Netflix January next year.
And then SmackDown, we don't know. But probably
Yeah,
not Netflix.
I'm assuming that Netflix will try and get SmackDown there. It makes sense to try and have all that product,
Maybe
and
not
they
right
will get
away.
the number. Yeah, maybe a few years down the line. Maybe.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe even give it a year just for them to go. So I
Do
don't
you
know what
reckon?
SmackDown do. I
Do
don't
you
know how
reckon
you can
USA
get
Network
a
tries?
year contract, basically.
Would you think maybe the
Maybe if
USA
USA
Network tries
Network
for
could get it for a
years?
year, because USA Network obviously has Raw at the moment, right?
Yeah, they've got Raw at the moment, and they're doing really well in
So
terms
I
of
imagine USA
viewers.
Network would take one more year of WWE content if that's how they had to get it. Because it's obviously it's pulling in huge numbers for
It is, yeah.
well compared to the
Just in
redacted
general,
era,
they're just full on. Like they are getting the watch hours that they want in terms of like viewing product.
and
It
they're
is out
getting
there.
the climb that they want. Like you put
Yeah,
Cody and Rock and Roman on the screen, and 500,000 people tune in. Like 500,000 people who weren't watching the show saw that it was Cody, Roman, and Rock and Seth,
and bounced
and
in.
turned on the show. That
Same with
that's basically what happened.
same with the McIntyre segment. When it was him, Rollins,
Yes, the
and Punk.
McIntyre, Punk, and Seth one.
He
Yeah,
McIntyre drew in the highest rating of that show. I think he got I think it was what 400,000-500,000 bump. I think something like that. It went from a 1.3 to a
yeah,
1.8. I think it bounced up really well, and that's from him alone. That wasn't Rollins or Punk. It was McIntyre's impact, but it still led to all three of them having a very strong segment, and I think
yeah.
that's effective. I think
Basically,
two of
because
the
we have
guys.
two world titles on the move now, and you probably want Cody to have a fairly all right reign.
Yeah.
If Damian Priest's reign has to be quick, let's get a belt on LA Knight. Let's see what he can do.
Here's an
LA
interesting
Knight could
question.
always be the one that loses to the returning Drew McIntyre, or at least returning to the main event scene, Drew McIntyre. From Drew, who's then world champion, you then have Punk come back, win it. Seth wins the Rumble in 2025, and that's how you do Seth Punk.
I was also thinking as well, just as an option, because we do not know what's going to happen at SummerSlam. It might be Rock versus Cody, it might not. Here's another thing as well. We mentioned about LA Knight there becoming world champion if he takes the title of Priest, if he goes to Raw.
Yeah.
What if LA Knight is the one that drops it to Gunther in Germany?
Yeah, that would work.
It doesn't lose any steam from LA Knight anyway
I
because
feel
they've
like
got
anyone who loses to Gunther in Germany has just kind of lost to Gunter in Germany. I don't feel like there's any situation where someone will
It's
lose
inevitable.
to Gunter at Bash in Berlin
Yeah,
and you'd be like, oh, they're burying that guy. Like, no, it's
yeah,
Gunter and he's not in his homeland, but almost in his homeland. Like,
yeah, exactly.
he,
It's the
he should be this unstoppable force
yeah.
in Germany.
You're not going to Germany to have Gunther lose. If
Yeah.
you do, there
And he
will be
should
a
win the
riot.
world title. And maybe he'll win the world title off Cody.
Yeah, it could do.
He might.
Yeah,
There's so many ways it can go, and that's why it's so exciting. I just hope AJ can find that excitement again.
that's what I was going to ask
I
you.
want someone to, well, ask a question and I'll see
Th-
how I
This is
formulate
what
it.
this is what I was going to ask you. And Billy's put a comment in saying we didn't get Drew in Cardiff, so Gunther might not win in Germany. No, no. I think the total difference there is like they're still riding high on the Roman run. That's why they stuck with it. Whereas with Gunther right now, he is billed as the next big bad. They will go for him. What I was going to ask about AJ is if AJ can't find what he's looking for, or he doesn't get his next big win at a premium live event, does AJ just stay out of the scene? Does he just drop? Like obviously, dropping down the card would be mental, but it has happened before.
Let's have a think about what AJ could do.
Yes, it is. It's 2 months away. Money.
Yeah,
There's
June, right?
yeah, there's 6 premium live events between now and SummerSlam. Actually, but it's so many coming up. It's insane. Like back to back, we've
Yeah,
got 2 premium live
it's
events in
gonna
August of all
it's
things
gonna
as
be a
well.
lot of fun. We've got we're about to do our whistle stop tour of Saudi as well, aren't we?
Yeah, with
With King of the
136
Ring.
people enjoying it, King and Queen of the Ring. Yeah,
King and Queen of the Ring. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what? So the qualifiers are on SmackDown.
I think they'll be on SmackDown and Raw. I think they're going to do both. I think
They should
we
just
do
do it
that.
as a one night tournament out
They
in
should do.
Saudi.
They should. We've got Backlash May 4th. Then we've
Yeah.
got Queen and King of the Ring. Then we've got Clash at the Castle, Scotland. Then we've got Money in the Bank. Then I believe at that point it's SummerSlam. Then it's Bash at Berlin. I think that's the order. I can double check it.
SummerSlam's moved to July in recent years, so the August
Summer
one would be
SummerSlam is August 3rd. Bash at the Berlin is
oh
August
right at the start.
31st.
Right at the
Yeah,
start. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it
yeah.
was late July last year for
It was,
SummerSlam.
yeah. The exact
But yeah,
the exact schedule.
so the question then, what does AJ do? How does
I don't
he?
know.
I I can't even really say stable because the OC are still there, and that doesn't feel particularly fresh.
Yeah.
I think he'd get a good match out of Logan Paul, but AJ is also heel at the
Hmm.
moment. I think he'd get a good match out of
True.
Sami Zayn, so
Agreed.
maybe an IC title reign. But does anyone
Just
remember AJ Styles' last IC title reign?
I
He
just
won
remember
it
the match with
coming out the pandemic.
yeah, he had the match with Jeff Hardy. That's all I remember. And then he lost it to Sami Zayn in that triple threat. So in terms of order, yeah. So we've got Backlash France is May 4th. King and Queen of the Ring is May 25th. So again, 3 weeks apart.
Yeah,
Clash at the Castle is June 15th. Money in the Bank is July 6th. And then that goes on to SummerSlam, which is August 3rd. And then Bash in Berlin, obviously, is August 31st. They're really that's very condensed. Like I think that's too much in one thing. Like
I
they're
would
good
be
at building their
surprised
own way,
if
but
Damian Priest is still champion come Bash at Berlin.
yeah, so would I.
I would be very surprised if Damian Priest was still champion. Have
I
Gunther
don't want.
win Money
I
that.
don't want that.
I don't think Gunther needs to do it that way unless
I'd
he
like for
cashed in
Braun to
ahead
get.
of time.
I'd like for
If
Braun to
Gunther
get Money
won
in
the
the Bank.
case, yeah. If Gunther won the case and cashed in ahead of time, like literally wins the case, gets on the mic, and it's like, whoever's champion when we
Yeah.
go to Germany, I'm fighting you. That would be the way I'd want to see Gunther do it. I feel like if he cashed in like a
Hmm.
weaselly way, that robs us of what has made Gunther so great and that he doesn't cheat. But speaking of a cheater, Logan
Yes.
Paul.
Hmm.
I liked this match. I thought
It's
this
all
was a
right
lot of
actually.
fun. It didn't quite get to the level of the Mike's Harder match between Drew Gunter and Sheamus, but I enjoyed this one. I thought these three worked quite well. Randy Orton did a fairly good job of protecting himself from further harm. Uh, I mean, physical body harm. I mean, Randy Orton, character-wise, is unbreakable at this point. He's an invincible force. He's never.
Yeah.
You're never going to look at Randy Orton and go, he's been buried. Guy's
No.
a 14-time world champion, 13 maybe.
14.
14-time world champion. He could be the one that does it before John Cena. Like he's. And at any point, they can just go, Randy Orton's challenging Priest, or Randy Orton's challenging Cody, and you go, all right, I'm here for it. Kevin Owens
Yep.
did really well. He obviously had a good first match, first time round with Logan Paul at Rumble, I want to say.
Yes, because that's
So
when he got
then,
knocked out. He got knocked out.
yeah, so, and they paid that off nicely with the brass knucks. Orton kicked out of them, but again, it's Randy Orton. He he gets away with a bit more, and maybe would have had Kevin Owens break that up rather than. But tiny little like nitpicks basically.
Yeah.
This is a long way of me saying that Logan Paul won the match. Not in he cheated in the match, but not necessarily in the finish as such. He just kind of capitalized on Orton's RKO. This was clean though. When Kevin Owens went for the pop-up powerbomb, he pops Orton up, and Orton RKO KO right in the middle of the ring. And when you
Yep.
think about so what have we had? We've had a catch RKO in a phenomenal forearm.
We've had
And we've
the
had a
Evan Bourne,
catch RKO from the Stomp. We've had a catch RKO from the Shooting Star Press.
Christian Cage's one at SummerSlam when he does it and he gets caught on the steel steps.
Yeah, down onto the steps. But, it's a move that can literally be hit out of nowhere. And I thought this was one of the best ones. Maybe not as good as the Seth one
One
with
of
the
my
curb
favorites is
stomp.
the one of my favorites is the twist of fate counter at the Royal Rumble when he literally spins all the way around in quick succession when
Oh,
he
yeah,
goes and
yeah.
he plants him. I really did like that combination. To be fair as well, the chokeslam at WrestleMania 21, the chokeslam RKO counter is absolute peak against the Undertaker.
Yeah, because he had all that height, and then he just, nah,
Taunted him.
I've got you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I
it
do
was
like
really
that.
cool that.
I liked
But
the
yeah,
fact that
Logan Paul won.
he came out as well before the match saying that before the match saying sorry, I didn't mean to cut you there. He says that
Oh,
he
go
was
on.
going to try something new with the RKO, like something you've never seen. I was thinking just a joke when he put I quoted it saying so randomly what he's going to do is Logan Paul's going to hit the buckshot lariat on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is going to do a fucking Rikishi every time he gets clothesline. He's going to spin inside out, and then Randy Orton's going to plant him with one RKO. But no, we get the pop-up powerbomb RKO
Kevin
again.
Owens isn't enough of a psychopath to, agree to do that. But I'm glad he
Yeah,
didn't because I like Kevin Owens, and I would
yeah,
like to see him as US champion. But
yep.
Logan Paul retains because I've heard that SummerSlam's in Cleveland,
It is.
so they probably want Logan Paul to be champion. Hey, maybe that is where you put LA Knight.
You
Maybe it
could
is.
see a shot return.
Maybe
You could
it's where
see a
you put a
shot return.
call up.
Also, you could see a shot return in Cleveland. Nick Nemeth is from
Okay.
Cleveland.
I don't think he'll be back that quick.
Maybe not, but if he does, that'd be a great show for him to come back at.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you just feed Logan Paul like Ilya Dragunov and
Ooh.
have him honestly have the piss beaten out of him. God, how impressive is Ilya Dragunov?
Mm.
I love him. He's one of my absolute favorites right now.
He's unreal. He is extremely unreal. In terms of the match, though, there's something I want to ask you. This one,
Go on, man.
obviously, Randy Orton kicking out the brass knucks is interesting because nobody else has done it. But do you think it was
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was still too soon though for him to kick out the brass knucks? Like anyone to kick out the brass knucks, surely it should be it
Mm,
should be effectively the kill shot. You know what I mean?
I think it depends what Logan Paul's schedule looks like. Now, if they're taking it up to SummerSlam, great. Logan Paul doesn't have to be on every single show.
Thankfully.
Like I don't think he has to be on all of those major events up to SummerSlam. I think he might not do France. I
Yeah,
think he will do Glasgow
I think so.
because he has a huge following in the UK. So a lot of people know him. A lot of people will boo him, and I don't think he would do Money in the Bank.
I think you.
I think
I'm on the
I
same
think his
wavelength as
calendar
you.
might honestly just say that he does Clash and then SummerSlam.
And maybe Germany as well. But that's it. I'm on a similar wavelength
Germany
to you.
would be after SummerSlam though. I think he'll lose the belt.
He could, yeah. I'm on a similar wavelength to you. I don't think he does. I don't think he needs them on every show. I think it's
No.
not that he hasn't earned that right. It's purely
He doesn't need to do
he.
Saudi. He would only do Saudi if he wanted to go there. And he's the sort of guy that maybe he does, but he doesn't
Yeah,
have to.
yeah. I think what he's done already is completely fine. Like, what he's done so
Yeah.
far is it's nailed on for him.
I don't mind one mid card champion not being there because Sami Zayn is ever present.
Yeah,
And Sami Zayn's obviously allowed in Saudi Arabia now.
thankfully.
So we don't even have to worry about that either. So,
Yes.
I'm perfectly happy. You can have a part time US champ because then the feuds build themselves. They want to get it off this part time social media star and get it back onto someone. Part of me wondered if they were going to try and do Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny. I don't think they're going to. I think if they were going to, it would be as a result of Logan Paul when he fought Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So I think maybe time has passed for that. The time most certainly hasn't passed on the winner of the next match. I'm sorry, Bailey. This was excellent, and I didn't see it coming. I saw you winning. I definitely saw Bailey winning, but I had. Oh.
It's interesting he's typing this, but he won't come on and say it because he's got the link.
I
You should have
thought,
said
right.
that. You should.
I
That's something you should
think
pop on and just say.
Cody needs to lose to a full time guy.
Oh, I wonder. It might be a bit bad now, but could it work?
What?
We are live on YouTube. An hour and
Oh
9 minutes
wow!
in, but who gives a fuck? An hour and 9 minutes in, so we are cooking on YouTube. They finally fixed their situation, the weirdos. So you get the second half of
To
of
be
the stream on
fair,
YouTube.
it's just about time. We're gonna get through this Bailey and Io match, and then we've got to discuss finishing the story, and I'll be just about ready
This was a
to
Stardom match.
tap
This
out
was
anyway. But
this
yeah,
this was a Stardom match. Literally, the way it was worked, it was Stardom pace, and it kind of fits in really well with the Rossi news as of late. It really does fit into actually maybe they're going to tap into that sort of
yeah.
market. And
I
one
think
moment
this
was
was better
exquisite.
than Stardom because these two have the popularity that Stardom does not.
I
And
suppose.
I think the match benefited from that because rather than it being two Joshi wrestlers who were fighting each other, and you know that this is what they do, this
Yep.
was a veteran in the Joshi style
Yep.
against someone who has that in her arsenal, but you would never call Bailey a Joshi. Even regardless of being a what do they call them? Is it Gaijin?
Gaijin. Yeah.
Yeah,
Outsiders.
the non Japanese wrestler. Yeah, Gaijin.
Yeah.
Um, Even outside of that, you wouldn't look at Bailey and think, "Oh, yeah, you're a Joshi wrestler." Like, but
Yeah.
she did really well, and I wondered, and I'll have to watch them back, but I'm erring on the side of saying that I think Bailey versus Io Sky was better than Rhea versus Becky. I enjoyed both matches a lot, and I thought both of
Hmm.
them were really good for what they necessarily had to be. I didn't want to see Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch work this match. It wouldn't make sense. There were
Yes.
so many counters and the back and forth and the way that they folded out of each other's things. There was counters to German suplexes in this one. Like
Hmm.
crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Like I don't
And
want
that
to see.
insane, also that insane rose plant counter.
Yes, yes, where she like sprung up out of it. It was crazy, crazy good.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't want to see Becky do 5 flips and dodge out the way of Rhea. It was a
Me
different
neither.
type of match. Becky and Rhea felt like a fight that you would see on a street,
Hmm.
and one girl is clearly larger than the other. So this isn't going to
Yeah.
go well for the small one, but she did her best. This was your wrestling match, and it might be match of the weekend. It might still go to Gunther versus Sami Zayn.
I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm just gonna say it. This was my this is genuinely my favorite match of night two. It
Oh yeah,
honestly was. This was.
yeah.
Just
Favorite match of night two, absolutely.
Yeah, Justin, good to see you, my man. Hello, I'd seen there been technical difficulties. Is that true? Was there a mishap? There was issues with Streamyard. They were having
Yeah,
technical issues. That's why we couldn't stream directly onto YouTube. We have been streaming for the past hour and 12 minutes on Twitch and X. We have got 166 people watching. Thank you very much to all
yeah.
that
And
is
do
watching.
not fret at all, Justin, because if the way that it basically has to work for this to now get onto YouTube is that it has to be
Fixed.
re-uploaded, the host will get that sorted and we'll have it
I
up
will
on
definitely.
YouTube as
I will
well.
do
But
that. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Well,
StreamYards has tried to knock us down the card tonight, but hey, we've pushed on.
we've
We've
battered
been
it.
professional, unlike apparently the boys. But we're not gonna talk about that right now. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Bailey versus Io Sky. I think the right person won. I don't know what Io does now though.
I don't think she needs to do anything. I think you just give her the you give her the rematch as
Yeah.
standard at Backlash, and
Hmm.
then after that,
You break her faction up.
oh yeah, and you do it. You give either I don't know. Depends on what type of opponent, but like she can work with anyone. So I actually wonder who you go to first. But I would like to see maybe down the line at some point a babyface Io Sky versus heel Asuka.
I think what I would do is Dakota Kai to NXT.
Okay.
I would do Asuka heel,
Yep.
Kairi Sane the babyface,
I'm
and
liking
Io
this.
Sky tries to keep friends with both of them but can't, and you've got in essence a shield like situation. Nowhere near as like iconic, but you essentially have the one who's trying to keep both of them together, and then the two they have completely fallen out. And it makes sense for Asuka and Sane to be the ones that fall out because they are the former women's tag team champions
Yeah.
multiple times, I think, actually, now.
Multiple. Yeah, multiple. Great question, Justin. Thoughts on Priest cashing on McIntyre? Also, is Punk medically clear or not? Well, technically, since you couldn't get the stream, we will gladly answer this
Yeah,
one. It's
yeah,
it's only
let's.
fair.
Yeah.
We will gladly answer that. So
Mhm.
first of all, thoughts on Priest cashing on McIntyre? I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't like it for the fact I wanted McIntyre to get a run, but I like the element of the fact is it's McIntyre's own downfall for just making everything about CM Punk and taking his eye off the ball, losing the title for just being completely stupid. I thought it was very well done and articulate in that way. I'll get your point in a second. But in terms of is Punk medically cleared or not, I don't think he's medically cleared yet, but I'd say he's almost there. But we'll see what happens. But Ailey, yourself?
I think you'll get Punk quicker than we expected again.
Yep.
He was on the Ariel Helwani show
Yeah.
talking about what's it called, the MMA hour or whatever. And
MMA
he
hour.
was talking about how he probably could have made Mania, but it would have been
Yeah.
dangerous. So he's
Yes.
basically good to go now. But he's not quite medically cleared.
Yeah.
And as for Damian Priest, I'm glad that he did it. I think we need to get the legitimacy of the Money in the Bank briefcase up. I think we need to show people that the Money in the Bank briefcase exists because it is supposed to be a basically guaranteed title.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be when you win that briefcase, it's basically the company going, yeah, you. It's not them going, okay, well, you win it until you lose it, or you'll win it,
Yeah.
but you won't cash in successfully. You'll win it, but you'll choose to cash in on a mid card champion and lose that anyway, and then win the
Absolutely.
same mid card title in a regular match a month or so later. What I'm trying to say is they've done a lot of damage to the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they needed to fix it, and this could be the start of that. They made two people lose championship due to them wanting to have revenge. Yeah, there could also be an element of maybe Drew McIntyre hasn't signed his deal, and they just want to embarrass him. I feel like after Raw, I'm more confident that he signed his deal because they wouldn't have had Punk cost Drew again if
Oh,
Drew
surely.
isn't going to do something with Punk, because at that point you're building a match that you're never going to see. And that is like
Absolutely.
101, don't do that as a wrestling promotion. So
Absolutely.
I don't think they're doing that. I think Drew McIntyre has re-signed. I think you can have a Damian Priest run. I think you could have someone like an LA Knight win it, get a really short reign, like a month,
Yep.
month and a half.
Yep.
Maybe one successful pay-per-view defense, PLE defense, get it back on to Drew at SummerSlam.
And let him run with it.
Punk wins it at the Rumble.
Yep.
Seth wins the Rumble.
Yeah. And then you can carry on in any way that fits. There is,
Yeah,
we have got a
you
guest
could go
that we have.
Seth, Drew, Punk, or you could just go Seth and Punk, and you can have the match that we were supposed to have this year.
Absolutely. For everyone that's watching, of course, I'm going to let Ailey take the reign just for a few moments. We do have a guest coming in just a few minutes. We do have, as it stands, 160.
There's going to be a hot tag because I don't have much longer, so it's
Absolutely.
nice to have a
We
hot tag.
have currently, before I quickly nip off just for a second, we have 168 people watching on X. The consistent viewer on Twitch, I'm going to say, is Rach, and we've got 4 people watching on YouTube. So we currently have 173 people watching this review show. So I will be back in just a moment. If you've got any questions, any comments in for Ailey, you want Ailey to answer, fire away. I will be back
Yeah,
in
fire
just
your
a
comments
moment.
in, people. I will be watching. So I guess that leads us to one more thing then. I want to make sure that I get my thoughts out on this one. And then obviously Reese and his new guest can take over from there. Finishing the story. He did it. Our boy did it. Cody Rhodes did it. He managed to finish the story. He finally managed to win the WWE Undisputed Championship, though the Undisputed not necessarily important right now. Just the fact that it is the WWE title. It's the title that they took from his daddy in the garden, as he said. This was chaotic in the absolute best way. I think for WrestleMania, you've got to make certain allowances that a match isn't going to work the same way as it does on any other night of the year. People are running on something different, they're channeling something extra special. And that, I suppose, is why I didn't mind this being what it was at all. It was really compelling viewing, but this is where, because people might call me a hypocrite, and they'd be like, well, how could you like the main event of WrestleMania Night 2 if you don't like AEW and you don't like the way AEW do things? You don't like the way that AEW just go all out with Carnage. I am okay with Carnage if you have earned the right to have Carnage. And I feel like that is the difference. That's what sets WrestleMania main event of night 2 apart from the AEW nonsense we see week on week. Because when it's the boys and Dalton Castle and Johnny TV, that doesn't quite hit the same way. You know, when it's Trent turning on Orange Cassidy, that doesn't quite hit the same way because AEW is this constant onslaught of mess and filth and vulgar things mixed with ridiculous spots. So when I say that this sounds hypocritical because I'm saying that I absolutely loved the main event, it's because this main event earned that. It earned it through storytelling, which spans across different eras. It earned it from you can look at so many different things that linked and tied together and overlapped, and they looked through each other. The storytelling in this match was unlike anything I have ever seen in wrestling. I have watched the highlights of this match a good dozen times, like the 13-minute video. I can't get enough of it. I've watched the actual clip that he wins probably 100 times, like the little short clip where he actually does it. And Michael Cole with the 3 count, he's like, finished the story. It is just the chefiest of chef kisses. It is incredible as a main event. And all of the returns hit completely. There was one that was obviously questionable. We wondered why Undertaker.
We're going to get that point in the circumstance because we're even going to get one of our guests to give his point of view as well. If you watch my Monday football podcast, you'll be familiar with the Welsh. They're an interesting bunch. No, they're brilliant. But in this circumstance, we do have my boy Nathan, who's finally making his debut on the channel. So, welcome, my man. Good to see you.
Cheers, man.
Pleasure.
Great to see everyone, and thanks for having me on. Finally getting the opportunity to pop on, and let's go for it.
Absolutely. So, Ailey, as you were, chefiest of chef kisses.
It is. I think in terms of storytelling, in terms of how this all ramped up, and you said yourself, Reese, you were sick of Finish the Story.
Oh, I am for the right reason. It's a bugbear.
The payoff for it, though, Michael Cole being able to do a 3 count to finish the story, and he's genuinely like blowing his voice out with it. Like it wasn't finished the story. Yay, he did it. Michael Cole was superb in this match, as was everyone on commentary, as was everyone involved. And special mention, of course, to Samantha, because she perfectly summed up what I think every fan was feeling. That sort of teary, like, oh my God, he actually did it. They actually did it. They told the story that we wanted to see. And I feel like more than anything, this was a thank you to WWE fans. from Triple H right to all of us, because we had every right after WrestleMania 39, the same way that I think we had the right after Clash at the Castle, but maybe that's not the same thing, to go on a rampage with cancel WWE Network this, cancel Peacock that, stop watching, boycott WWE, all that stuff that we saw in 2015. And I think this was our reward for staying with it, for watching another year of Roman Reigns, for putting up with another year of this part-time champ whose matches all ended the same way. And his title reign ends the exact same way that we watched him defend it time and time again. He ran out of friends and Cody did not.
Yeah, and I think another thing
100%.
as well that's very telling as well, and Nathan, we're going to get your points on this main event. I'm not going to keep my point of view short and sweet. I'm going to let Nathan have his say before I give mine. I think the one thing that really is fitting is Roman Reigns has beaten Cody.
Oh, no way. He's disappeared instantly.
Vince McMahon silenced him in the background.
Yeah, he's gone. He's completely and utterly gone.
Is Kevin Dunn pressed the right button?
Point over there. Yeah, he's been muted. It's an AEW mic. He's using an AEW mic.
Oh, he's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Oh. Is he really just
Oh mate, it's hilarious.
Wow, unbelievable. Well, I did say that I had an hour and a half, so I'm gonna have to hand off to you here, Nathan, for the hot tag, R-Truth style. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the show if Reese comes back. If not, enjoy your first appearance, being a solo talk about WrestleMania Night 2, apparently. But no, enjoy yourself, and hopefully we'll catch time to be on a show together when I've got more time. Oh, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
So what, I'll hold off. I'll wait for him to come back. But yeah, I'll hot tag out in a moment. So what did you think of the main event then?
So as for WrestleMania main events go, especially with some of the ones we've seen over the last 10 years, by far one of the best, absolutely just incredibly written, I think, as well. I was a bit concerned after night one with how clean the victory was with Roman and The Rock. Coming into it, whether it was just going to be, stick the title on Roman for another year. He's going to end up beating Backlund and Hogan. Same with San Martino as well. I just thought it was just going to be a steady, predictable storyline. But the way that it was booked on the second night, all of the interference getting deferred away because everyone knows how Solo just pops up every 5 minutes in every main event. So fair play, that was amazingly written. Even as much as I was shocked to see The Undertaker, and it was like, was it going to work? Was it not? The way that was brought in as well was absolutely fantastic. Taking out the final boss. The spear from Jey Uso off the stage was absolutely nuts as well. Great to see that implemented in. And yeah, each interference was just worked beautifully. And as you guys have said, obviously with Michael Cole being let off the reins as well. At the end of the day, if Vince was still there, it would just been like, the story's over. After having him in his ear every 5 minutes. But yeah, fair play to Triple H for keeping it silent and letting everyone just absolutely flourish. And match time was absolutely perfect. Didn't drag on for too long. Everything was just absolutely nailed in that main event. And to be honest, since Mania 25 with Michaels and The Undertaker, this is one of my favorite Mania matches, to be honest. It's
very fair points. Yeah, no, I would have to agree. Anyway, I'm going to execute that hot tag now. So be the R-Truth to the Miz. Tag him for the last. Hang on, we're getting interrupted. I've got to counter it. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, before
I decided just hang about while you were away.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was just my sound. I was not on mute, by the way. Like, I was not on mute, so I do not know why my sound was not picking up at all. So I left the studio and jumped back in to 179 beautiful people that are watching. Thank you very much. Before she goes, I did say at the very start of this stream, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you've missed that, but you're going to get it now. I've decided, this is on me. She was not told this. She's getting told now. Going forward, we're going to be doing shows pretty much. We are going to be doing shows every single week.
Yes, we will do our best.
Every second show of the month, plus any other additional shows we do. As of now, I will no longer be hosting. Like it's over. Shows going forward, the first, the third, when it's my turn for the quiz, when it's Ailey's turn for the quiz. This is still my channel, as we know, but it's officially our channel in terms of how we host and run shows. That includes who she wants on, who she wants to do discussions with.
Nice.
It's literally, this is still my channel. It's still my podcast that I create. It's still my baby as it is, but it's officially full on 50-50. It's going forward, and that I wanted to announce purely as a thank you to Ailey as well over the past couple of years of being on the channel. So I really want Ailey to get her props, but also in terms of just commitment to the channel, time-wise, the lot, putting in the effort, really do as well. Ailey does a lot for the channel in terms of like bringing in input, bringing in her own personal, like her own takes are really important. So I first of all want everyone that's watching, 179 people, if you can just give Ailey a massive applause for this and her followers, obviously the channel. Literally every second week of the channel that we're doing shows, or even if we do multiple shows a week, if we choose to, those are Ailey's shows going forward. She will be in full control of those shows. So I just want to give all that to Ailey in that circumstance.
We'll see what I can do with that power. Well, thank you very much. I will have to now counter that. I'll have to jump over your leapfrog, whatever, get out and hot tag away. But yeah, no, let's we'll speak in the messages about who and what to do. I've got a couple people in mind who might be able to jump onto some shows soon, so we'll see if we can make that happen. But yeah, I guess we'll discuss what we're doing for the next show. But for now, I'll leave you guys to discuss WrestleMania night 2 and probably going forward as well. And I will catch you for the next show. Later, everybody.
See you later. And that was Ailey. So I thought, by circumstance, like I said on the show yesterday, we did night 1 review yesterday. So I said that obviously this podcast is, as a whole, collective, not just the channel that got destroyed, but like which is my personal channel. Obviously, this is still personal, but it's full on. It's the steel chair. Ailey's been on the podcast for going into the third year about 2.5 years. So 2.5 years, Ailey's been involved, and I think in terms of circumstance and where we're at, I think it was absolutely right and fitting that I make this announcement after a massive weekend for the channel where
absolutely well deserved as well.
We gained 51 subscribers. We're on 12,000 views altogether. Like that's not just my work, that's Ailey's work. It's the community that watches us. We really do appreciate it, and we thank everyone that does. So please do come over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you still want to watch on X, by all means, watch whatever you want. It's your viewership, your enjoyment. We hope we can continue to deliver good content that you guys enjoy, because as much as we enjoy talking about wrestling, we love hearing your opinions on pro wrestling as well. So I wanted to give that moment where I've not just been thinking about this for a day because of where we're at. I've been thinking about this for quite some time, and it's only fitting where she is on every show pretty much, or involved in every show unless she's not able to make it. I wanted to give Ailey her moment, and this is one in particular where I was like, you know what, let's announce it. 50-50 shows all round, and I think it's great for the channel going forward, and I think it's going to be a great dynamic, and it works really well because she's awesome. So, I wanted to give that moment, and I'm going to stick with it, and that's where we're at. Back to the main event, WrestleMania 40. We're going to keep going for a while. We can keep going. So, the mad return's definitely worth fitting.
Yeah.
I've said it, and people, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's my personal opinion. I didn't like the fact that it went over. It was, I get you've got to overbook it to beat Roman, but they went way too far for me. But that's not saying I hated it. It's just for me, it didn't resonate the way I wanted it to. It just went that way. That's pro wrestling. Like it has moments where it goes too far, or it doesn't go far enough, and it just felt like that for me, where it went way too far. But they maintained those elements of suspense. The first half of this match, where it's literally just pure wrestling, is impressive. It's when
It is very impressive.
It's when it gets to the second half, and you're like, okay, when's it coming? And it does eventually come up, and
Yeah.
it does go into full flow, and they do it that way. That's fine. Like that's fine. If you like it that way, more power to you. But it's just the fact of the matter of how it fits and how it works, and that really is the key. And it ties into what it was supposed to be. Who's going to get out muscled? Who's going to get the last, like basically the last gun out of the arsenal? Who's got the last shot? It's like a Call of Duty moment. It's one in the chamber. You've got one bullet left. Who's going to get the kill shot? We see that.
100%.
And it really is that killer blow of Roman has presented a great opportunity to either smash the pish out of Cody with a steel chair, or he gets the moment of, actually, I still haven't forgotten what Seth Rollins did to me in 2014. I haven't forgotten that steel chair shot. And he chooses to go for that. And it's his undoing.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins lost his world title, and he cost Roman his own by being perfectly placed to take a steel chair shot to the back. Clever as hell.
It was genius booking, to be fair, because when you look at it, especially with the position that Roman was in at the time, it was either are you going to steel chair Cody, secure the title, and then go Seth after it, or is it going to be booked that you get revenge? Who do you want to get your revenge on first?
Yep.
Because you could have it where Seth gets immediately back up, just absolutely curb stomps him through the mat. In comes Cody, 1, 2, 3, you're done. Or even more interference they could have booked from there. But the way that it was constructed right at the end for me was absolutely perfect, showing that Roman still has that disdain there from obviously the steel chair in the back in 14. But yeah, fair play to him. But I think as well, you really did see the difference in the booking, in particular as well. The fact it was just pure match, as you've said, for what was pretty much the first 15 minutes. At the end of the day, if it was Vince booking it, it would have probably been just 15 minutes of pure interference.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in the end, as we've seen with Roman for like the last 4 years, it just got so predictable with every single match. Just either Solo, Jimmy Uso, just any Sami Zayn in the past a few times. Just any form of interference coming in. We saw it at a clash with Solo's debut as well. Yeah. It just got too predictable at that point, and ultimately they had to make a decision on what they were going to do with it. I mean,
it was losing fans.
1,300 days at the end of the day. It was either you carry it on right through, and everyone will just be fuming about it, or you end the title reign at the right time. Great reign, but at the end of the day, it's time for change. But the thing I will say now that they've put the title on Cody, and it's the same with Damian Priest as well. Where does Hunter take this? Is the title going to be on Cody for a while? Is Reigns going to have his break probably until SummerSlam and then win it straight back? And then go on another short-term reign? There's a lot of questions here. Because at the end of the day, now that both the storylines have pretty much ended on both sides, they've got to be smart with the booking. And to be honest, I can see, in particular, the world title being an absolute hot potato. And even then, if Damian Priest holds it for more than 4 months, I will be extremely surprised, especially considering that Clash is coming up again in Scotland soon.
Exactly. I think as an option, we say about Roman takes his break till SummerSlam. I think so, but I still think it's going to be Rock versus Cody in the main event of SummerSlam. If the whole plan now is to have Roman turn heel, which I don't know if it works, I think Roman will interfere and cost Rock the title. I think he will, because I think he'll go like, well, you weren't very effective in helping me retain my title at WrestleMania, so here we go. I'm going to stop you from taking this one. You might be the final. You can claim to be the final boss, but to me, you're not. And he just steals that opportunity. And there you go. There's your plan for WrestleMania. It stems from that.
Yeah, it's written in the stars that it's going to be like that, because we did see it a little bit with Cena and Rock, didn't we? Like, when was it? 2011/2012.
2011 and 12, yeah.
Yeah, where it built up from Survivor Series and pushed to Mania 28. But I think it'll be the same with the world title, because there's one big elephant in the room that they've got to book as well: CM Punk.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I can see them. He was out injured for this Mania. They've had to completely rebook it. Question is, how are they going to involve him? Whether it's going to be a night 1 or 2 main event.
He's there already with McIntyre, and he's still got the Rollins work. So it's about where they go in terms of like who's going to hold it. I think Ailey's idea was right, where Punk will take it off Drew. In the manner of it, I think it's certainly possible.
Here's a question for you then, Reese. Are we going to see Drew going into Clash as world champion, or are we going to see him winning it there? Because to be honest, I cannot see him losing another title match in the UK, especially after the reaction from last time.
I think he'll, like, if Drew's holding this title now, I think Drew will get the retention at Backlash, and then I think you'll see Drew win it in Glasgow. I think so. Romy One Kenobi, good evening, sir. I hope you're doing well. That's generally the best name on YouTube, Romy One Kenobi. We do have 180 people watching. Thank you very much. Spread across the 3 platforms. Obviously, StreamYard is a dick, so that's why we're late onto YouTube tonight. But luckily, we got onto it. I will upload. Even though when we end this show, it looks like we're going to do a double. I will upload the full stream from StreamYard directly to YouTube at the end of this show, because it's only fair that everyone else gets to see what we spoke about at the very start. Obviously, we've mentioned Ailey's got her moment. Daz, Jamie actually can't make it. I did message him. He messaged me. He does have a family commitment. He did tell me that he apologized to everyone. He said he was going to come on, but he will be on again. Don't worry. It's just that he has a family commitment, so he could not make it tonight. That's why Jamie's not here. On the back of that, I want to go on and discuss something else that follows, obviously, WrestleMania. Obviously, it's the night after. The Raw after Mania gave some very interesting appearances. It gave a mixed segment between Rock and Cody as well. But
that one, I wasn't keen on that, to be honest.
It did drag a little bit. It did drag. Maybe the crowd really was tore in, but it did drag a little bit. But it clearly has presented the fact that the plan clearly is Rock versus Cody at SummerSlam. But is it worth doing it, though?
Question is, I don't know. They could have kept it very brief and just gone, okay, fair play to Cody, you win, done. If they want to keep it the nicey way, because it did make The Rock out a little bit as a pussy, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion on it anyway. But if they can clearly see it as day that it's going to be Rock Cody at SummerSlam, then why don't you either build it up straight away or not involve The Rock for it and then bring him back just before the pay-per-view?
Oh yeah, because they could theoretically build into a Mania match within the space of 2 weeks. Well, not Mania,
easily.
sorry, SummerSlam. They could make it a Mania-esque build of slow and then do it the last 2 weeks just for SummerSlam. They could.
Sorry, I'm just Cardiff just scored. Ignore me. It's a
Yeah, he has a
miracle.
Cardiff fan, sadly. Rowan Kenobi, night after Mania, that 30-second music that played for Raw started with creepy. That was because Uncle Howdy was at Raw.
Yeah.
He was there. When they take the initiative and bring him back, though, is a different question. But it's purely the sense that Bo Dallas, in character of Uncle Howdy, was actually at Monday Night Raw. So we'll see where they go with that. No idea, though. No idea. But we will see. We certainly will see. Uncle Howdy back maybe with Alexa. I'm here for it. Yeah.
Potentially.
I would ideally like to see Alexa go back to the goddess gimmick, just what really was great. I mean, I wasn't particularly a fan of her darker gimmick that she done with Wyatt. I think I know it's special between the two, but I don't want to see them go back to that. Personally, I think that they've had their chance. It only works with Bray Wyatt and
For me, that angle's done, to be honest. I cannot see it working at all.
Yeah, we'll never see again. Could see Uncle Howdy with Braun Strowman, though, if he ever returns. But with Alexa Bliss, I think it only works with Bray Wyatt, and unfortunately, due to his passing, we'll never see that energy and that dynamic again. And I don't want to see it again. I don't.
That's the thing with Alexa Bliss, though. At the end of the day, when they split them up between her and Blake and Murphy, she goes to the main roster.
Skyrocket.
Blake and Murphy, straight down like that,
flat out. No one for a while. I think he's going to take I think he's going to take a well-deserved break. I think he's going to take a break. Can you see Eric Rowan back with Howdy?
I can't, to be honest.
I would like to, just for Eric Rowan. Just for Eric Rowan. He's suffered a whole lot of shit. And I think he deserves this moment. Will he get it? I don't know. I don't.
Question is if WWE re-sign him as well, which is what you got to remember. I think they. I can see Triple H doing it.
Yeah, I think it would be a decent move.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be like a major champion, but he is a company guy. He is loyal, and I hate the fact that he was selling off his merchandise just to make ends meet. Like that was gutting that he did that. I don't want to see that for any talent, unless you're an absolute scumbag. Then I want to see you suffer. But for a guy like Eric Rowan, who literally lost two of his best friends within the space of a few years, that hits traumatically, and that's something that no one wants to see. So I would like to see that for him that way, because he would carry on in the best way. He knows the group inside out. He knows Bray Wyatt. Well, William Rotunda, I should say. Like, he knows his way of thinking, his creative intelligence. It would happen. Reese would want it to happen to Goldberg. I'd love to see Goldberg just get absolutely ruined by anyone else between now and the rest of his life. Just fuck him up.
Good humbling.
I would bring Goldberg back just to stick him in the ring again with Brock Lesnar and have Brock Lesnar do about 50 German suplexes and 10 F5s that includes one through a table.
So even better than the squash match a few years ago between them.
Yeah,
that was embarrassing. That was
just end him. Goldberg's finish. There is something I want to do. This is a fun part of the show. So if you are watching this, prepare for some laughs, and I've got a very appropriate banner for it. And I think it works really well. And I'm just going to bring it up on screen now. One moment. There we go. Get ready for a few laughters, ladies and gentlemen. Because on the channel, I have a YouTube short that was posted. It's about 3,000 views, which is generally quite mad. But it's Cody is the new WWE champion. It's the most liked video now on the channel at 159 likes.
It's good.
But the amount of comments, I'm going to call it this. It's copium. And the reason why, and you can have a look at this whilst you're watching. You can have a look at, because if I bring these comments up on stream, I don't know what the reaction is going to. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. The amount of comments that appear is insane. That suits me, man. That suits me. There's the amount of comments of who cheated who in the main event. Did Roman cheat Cody with all the interference, or did Cody with all the interference cheat Roman? And they go into this sheer amount of subplot. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I, for one, their usernames. So,
Reese is doing some prime calling out here. Oh, I love to see it.
I don't know if it's prime calling out or just prime carnage, but did I do it or did I just say the comments but not name names?
Let's just say the comments.
Okay. We'll just say the comments then. So I'm going to bring it up on the side, but I'm going to share the screen then. I think that's fair. Did you hear Ricky Starks wanted to go to the ring to celebrate but with Cody, but security stopped him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Purely because he's not under contract. And it would cause a lot. It would cause a sheer amount of problems. So it was definitely the right thing to do. Not let him go. He still gets to watch it though, which is fine. He still gets to watch and enjoy it. That's what matters. So we're now 111 subscribers now. Sweet. Okay. Where's that video? Where is it? See if I can find what I'm looking for. So view more. That is it. That video? Yeah, it's this video here. The new WWE champion kicks off. Nope, that's the wrong one. Fucking hell. Sorry, my bad. Got the wrong because I've got two of them there. 2 seconds. Content. Lord have mercy, as Dude Love would say. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Where is it? Nope. Yeah, there we go. 2,673 active views on this video, and it's just pure insanity for some comments. So let's just show me the comments. Come on, where are they? Just show me these comments because they are insane. I'll just read them from my phone. So there's some comments here that says Cody cheats to win. Cool. And then we get a response saying that's clearly cheating because The Undertaker, John Cena, and more came to attack Roman Reigns. He still didn't lose hope, and one day he will return getting more powerful.
Yeah, but technically, have these people been living in a cave for like the last 4 years?
They're going to be there.
This I know they're looking for bites on it, but is this the actual case?
They're getting it because this one follows. Cody didn't cheat Roman. Cody didn't cheat. Roman did more because if you think about it, John Cena was the only one that technically helped Cody, as he was the only one that hit Roman that was with Cody. Seriously, grammar. I mean, I know it's YouTube, but still, please have a little bit of grammar. With Cody, first Jimmy super kicked Cody, which started all, and Jimmy is one person to help Roman. Then Solo came out and attacked Cody, so 2 people physically helped Roman, and 1 physically helped Cody. But mentally, Roman couldn't forgive Seth for betraying the Shield, so Roman hit Seth, which cost him the win. The reply back to that was, "Bro, who choke slammed The Rock?" So then I cheekily responded with, "Good question, and the reason why matters." I then get a reply saying, "Why doesn't it matter? Why doesn't it matters? Then it means it doesn't matter if if Cody Rhodes won, bro, remark my words in quotation marks. The tribal chief, he will come back stronger than ever. Acknowledge him. No, I won't. The reply back to that was Roman. I replied in respect to this. Then I went to work, and then the comments flooded after I went to work. So the next comment is Roman isn't going to be in this sort of position again as champion. The match was fair on both sides for interference.
Yeah.
Roman's jealousy of Seth Rollins cost him the win as well after the Shield split 10 years ago. As for Roman, this is where I'm probably going to get a lot of hate. As for Roman, I've never been a fan of his. Ever since the Royal Rumble with his ridiculous last man standing match where his reign technically should have ended, I've just not been as interested. And then the comment back to that was, I can only say, bet well, we will see about that. Roman will get better. So I thought, okay, I'll leave one last comment and bounce. He can get better if he wants to, but that won't equal another long title run. They'll move on to different things now. And again, I got asked, why am I trying to change the subject? I said, I'm not trying to change the subject. I'm stating the obvious. End of story. And then all the Cody crybaby comments flooded, all the Roman comments flooded, and it went fucking ridiculously nuts. If you want to look at these comments, do it. Just go and look. I've got hashtag Cody crybabies. I've got casual Roman glazers. It's all on this
Unbelievable.
video. And then there's a reply saying, bro is blinder summit. Jay helped, and Seth, John Cena, Undertaker, everyone I listed helped Cody. You're for real blind. And then hashtag Roman Reigns will come back.
Oh, God.
And there's another comment that says, bro, he is not winning Money in the Bank, which is a suggestion that Roman wins Money in the Bank. I'm going to say this now, guys, because this is a very interesting comment, and fair play to this user. Horror Pumpkin 340. 3 hours ago. Horror Pumpkin 3 hours ago says, and I quote, he cheat like he says, I think to Triple H that he had won. He had to win. That should be had to win, but I get what he means. And Triple H says this to Undertaker and John Cena, and they help him to win the match and shut up the Cody cries babies. To which, at Espo WWE, the final comment on this video says, bro, what are you saying? Maybe speak English. Oh, wait, you're some 9-year-old who knows nothing about wrestling. I forgot.
Wow.
Fucking cooked him. These are not joke comments. These are on the video. Cody Rhodes is the new WWE champion. That's the video of the title. Posted it just after the night 2 press conference, and it kicks off. It just kicks off between them. Let them do it. For all, if you want to fight over who cheated, go for it. I don't care. I find it funny. And it kind of goes to this point of that's just funny considering how many Roman had. Jimmy J, Solo Heyman, Sami Zayn, The Rock, Roman, Candy, Crybabies. End of the day, it's peak. It makes me laugh. And we see where it goes. Next week on the channel, because obviously the build up to Backlash, we are going to discuss the draft as well. We're going to get straight back into reviewing live shows and all that. We're going to be doing that. Building up to Dynasty as well. We're going to be doing that again. It's a pro wrestling podcast, pro wrestling channel. We discuss all wrestling, whether you like it or you dislike it. We're going to do it, and that's where we're at. But it's just absolutely hilarious. And Romy won Kenobi.
What a comment! That's comment of the night, mate. Oh, that's hilarious.
Damn, some wrestling marks I seen online arguing over a scripted show need to chill and go and get laid. For 181 people watching this, comment of the night, yeah, something
Comment
like
of the night for me.
The full video will definitely. Obviously, this is not the full stream on YouTube. Again, it's because StreamYard had an absolute fit, so the whole stream will be uploaded to YouTube. Once this is over, I want to ask your thoughts on the Raw after Mania and also NXT if you've seen it. The transition of some talent. Obviously, Ilja Dragunov, Roxanne Perez are eligible for the draft.
Yep. To be
What
honest,
you
I
think?
I can see both of them being drafted, and Dragunov has been coming for years. I remember seeing him at Takeover in Cardiff as well. That match was absolutely amazing at the time. I think it was against Cesaro as well. But yeah, he's been building for years. Roxanne Perez has been in and around there as well. So there's going to be two fantastic call ups there. Oh my God. Oh, that's comment of the night. That's taking it. That's taking it.
Roman one Kenobi, you got this for the preview show on Friday night, so you're getting it again tonight.
Mate, fantastic.
You'll get the light up of the Kenobi lightsaber just for that. That was peak. That is a great comment. Obviously, if you are watching this currently at 2 hours now, if you want to watch the full show back, I will try and upload this as soon as I can. Literally, when the show ends, I'm going to upload it. But if you do want to watch it, get your comments. Obviously, you're going to be. I can't answer any questions. Obviously, that's just because I can watch it with you and answer questions. But in terms of on screen, obviously, it's going to be just premiering live or just immediate upload. And you can just watch it. But obviously, I'd love to get you guys' thoughts and opinions as well. Thank Nathan. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Obviously, you can come back on any time you want.
Champion.
Plug your channel. Anything else you want to discuss about WrestleMania, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, so everyone knows where I am with the football podcast, my own stuff as well. Appreciate you having me on for the very first time. Hopefully, the first time of many as well.
Absolutely,
quite possibly my favorite Mania since Mania 30. To be honest, I know people have their criticisms of that show, but yeah, Mania 30 was a real favorite for mine. And yeah, I don't know what it is. Excluding 35, we won't mention 35, but every single 5 decimal Manias are always just absolutely elite. Chuck in 18, etc. there as well. And some of good matches dotted over the last 10 years, but 30 and 40 absolutely sublime, especially the first one under Triple H as well.
Absolutely,
booked to absolute perfection. But providing that they smash it, UC show, absolutely love it. Sami Zayn in disguise, who knows? But yeah, moving back from my final point, really, it's just a case of seeing how they book it for the rest of the year now. Considering the amount of storylines that ended at Mania, which was unprecedentedly a lot, for my opinion.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do bed in this many storylines throughout the next couple of weeks of Raw and SmackDown and stuff, or whether and what Backlash is going to look like as well.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, it could be a very, very sort of taped together show that I'm looking at with not much build up. As you said earlier, they can build up a WrestleMania style match in 2 weeks, especially for SummerSlam with The Rock, etc. But when you're looking at the mid card and stuff, you're going to struggle like mad. So that's the one thing that Triple H will learn over time in my eyes. But yeah, anyways, exciting times ahead. And yeah, be interesting to see now the amount of titles that were dropped as well, how long some of those are going to be held for. Because to be honest, I can see a lot of quick title changes this year.
We're not getting that part specifically. We're just getting the footage between Jack Perry and Punk. Just for anyone watching that, we will be reviewing all that to come. By the way, also as well for the channel, I haven't looked into. But obviously, I know you can add extra platforms. Might add the likes of Facebook, maybe add the likes of Instagram as well. Get more
good shot
for the channel out there. But of course, Nathan's channel obviously at NWMYT on YouTube. Check that out. Check out our World of Football podcast as well on a Monday night. If you're interested in football, that's another thing. But in terms of the channel, there'll be more content coming. Not making it all about me, but it is my birthday on Friday. I am going to do a birthday stream. It probably will just be a gaming stream, but I will be doing one for a few hours. So do check that out. We're going to be rolling every single fucking week now. Like in terms of we're just going to keep going and going and going. Not just me that's hosting. There'll be Ailey. 180 people watching. For
incredible.
What you can, and from that it's 176 on X. Please do come over to YouTube. The Week Steel Chair on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tell me what you think of the podcast. Tell me what you think in the comments, on tweets. Tell me what you think on YouTube, what you think of the channel. Anything you'd like to see added in terms of content, let me know. And absolutely, we are rolling. But from everyone that's watched tonight, all the guests, all the comments that's taken part, thank you very much. We will be back later in the week, and we are now on our road, and we'll see where it goes. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay tuned, and you didn't get at the start because YouTube was a prick, but I'm going to give you it anyway as we go out. It's, of course, the intro / outro. To all that's watched, thank you very much. We'll see you later on. Bye-bye.